Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. In this video, I'm going to show you one of the pretty new area or new capability of Microsoft Graph Explorer, right? And what is that capability? So it's a capability for the consumer identity, right? So consumer identity is something which is uh, called as or is considered as those identities which are not associated with any of the organizations as an organization identity, right? So that could be Gmail, right? So that's not a specific organization identity, but that's a cloud service for consumers to use without any cost, right? At certain level, it is free of cost, but at another layer or level, there would be different services or products those are being charged. Similarly, there are other consumer identities like hotmail.com, yahoo.com, outlook.com, and I'm going to show you this capability which is moreover related to the Microsoft hotmail.com as well as outlook.com, right? Those are the two services where this capabilities are working with Microsoft Graph, right? And how those can be used in order to perform some of the testing scenarios, some of the developer work that developer can go ahead and do that, right? And even IT pros can also use and test, and they can simply learn from it. It is only for the learning purpose, right? It's not something anyone can do any unwanted activities. That's not really the use, or that should not be the use at all, right? So I'm going to show you how, as an IT pro, can simply use the Microsoft Graph, right? Graph Explorer with their Outlook.com or Hotmail.com in order to perform some of the actions like the way we do with the work account, right? Wherein we wanted to test 8 different types of APIs, right? But definitely there would be a limitations on lot of APIs because the APIs which are available there in Microsoft 365, the same APIs are not available with Hotmail or Yahoo or basically the Outlook.com, basically, right? Because those are the consumer identities, and we really don't get the full API control because that's a free of cost service, and Microsoft has that service is given as a free service to the all the consumers, right? So that's how it is, right? So let's jump onto the screen and I'm going to show you how we can go ahead and create, or I'll show you how we can go through and use and do the different testing scenarios. All right. So you can see I'm on the Outlook Hotmail, right? And here I have logged into my Hotmail account in the Graph Explorer. You can see developer.microsoft.com, right? So I logged in with my Hotmail account. You can see over here. And once I logged in, that means I'm able to get my details, the profile details, right? So for example, if I am to get the details for my, probably I'll say that one and retry. Maybe that's going to fail. Why? Because that's the post command one. So I'll just simply remove this one and I'll show you executing this one. Perfect. You can see that it has pulled out my details about this account using Graph Explorer, right? Now, this is one of the API which is available. Similarly, there are certain APIs available for Outlook as well. You can see under Outlook Mail, and you might have used and seen so many different capabilities are available here, but not all APIs are available with Microsoft Consumer Identity at all, right? And it is because this is a consumer identity and it does not have all of those capabilities which it provides, right? For example, this one, right? Which is a beta one, and it provides me the profile details for my identity. So it's going to export everything for this account, right? And then showing to is going to show everything for me, right? So this way it is going to get the details and should be able to go ahead and use all of that, right? Even I wanted to show my photo, I can simply run it and you can see it says not found. That means either there is no photo or I need to provide additional permissions to it, right? Now, this was the one of the scenario that we can use, but similarly, we can also use for different use cases. You can see when I exported or tried running me.messages API, it's going to export all those emails which I received for this account on this account basically, right? And it's going to, it's a big list, right? You can see it has exported a long list of those emails from the mailbox. And this is going to be interacting with focus mailbox, right? So focus mailbox is going to be this one, right? So whatever the emails are received, all those emails would be picked up and sent it across or shown up over here, right? Now you might say, okay, now I have option to get my emails or maybe I wanted, I'm able to get everything, but what about if I wanted to update my profile photo or contact numbers or anything, right? And even you can also do the files rewrite operations, right? With this API, which is drive root and children level, right? So you can do that as well. That's possible with this, right? So these are the different permissions, and I have to grant appropriate permissions over here. Then only it's going to allow me to perform the same operations or whatever the operations I wanted to do, right? And basis on that, it's going to do that one. And even there is one of the option as well. This one, let's try it out. Okay, it's giving an error because it does not have the appropriate permissions. Then, right. So it says unauthorized 401. That means there is no appropriate permissions. And to get that permission, we need to get that permission from this list. So I will just search for insights, and here's the insights permission that we can grant. And here's the meeting AI insights dot read dot all, right? So basis on the permissions, whatever the permissions we wanted to grant, and upon granting those permissions, it's going to list out all of that capabilities or that result basically, right? So let's say I have to grant or I'll just consent to this one, and yep, that's done. Let's go ahead and run it again. Oh, seems that is not yet. Okay, it is still not working. So probably it is going to take time. Sometimes it does not. Maybe the permission is not correct one, right? Because you won't be able to identify whether that's the correct permission or not, because you have to do a bit of check and research on it. And that's going to how it is. That's going to be that way only, because if I have to tell you find something, maybe I don't know the permissions, then probably I will just look into it and then get the permissions. Right now, I will also show you how we can send an email. Right, to send an email, I have that draft over here. Right, by sending an email. To send an email, I'll just need to go to the Outlook mail over here. Okay, here it is, and this one, right? And it is going to automatically change this API permission over here or API path. And then you can see it is also going to change the method, which is going to be request method. And it's going to, we need to add the email address where we wanted to send that email. All right, I'll just give it a correct email address. You can see the email address is set as a correctly, and I'll just send it. Perfect. You can see the email address or the email is been sent with this subject line over here, and this is the content of the message, right? And you can see the message is delivered to this mailbox. So it has micro. Oh, okay. Seems the email address is not correct, and that is why. Yes, that is why it has given. It has just failed over there. There is some typo over here, so it should be resolved. Okay. Okay. So let me rerun, and it did not sent it correctly because the email address was not correct, and that is why it gave the postmaster back. Now let's go back and run this again. Run this query. Yep, what it's saying, unable to read JSON template or payload. Okay. Okay, it's there already. Let me rosoft.com. Okay. Yeah, that's correct. That's correct one. Then this should work. Now it's giving an error. That's strange because it has all the appropriate permissions and it is just not accepting. So I'll just go back to Outlook mail and I want to show you how we can go ahead and do that. All right. So this template is automatically be created and shown up over here, right? So let's go ahead and run this now. Oh, it says bad request, unable to read JSON request payload. Please ensure content type header is set and payload is of valid JSON format. So that is strange here. Okay, I think this is not correct over here. Okay, that is matching with this one. This is matching with this. Okay, request. Even you can see that there's a right set of permissions loaded, and you can see that's granted as well. And if an even if you wanted to get this tested using token, then probably we should be able to do that as well, right? And for example, if I have to copy this token and I'll just simply decode it jwt.ms, right? Then we can do that as well, right? So let's say I have this token with me and I can decode this token and see what it is going to show. Okay, so probably this token is not executed. That is why it is just showing up there. But once that is successfully executed, then it should execute. For example, let's go back. I'll just go to profile again and run it, right? So now we can simply copy this token and come back and paste it and decode it. No, even this token is also not opening or decoding any of those content, right? So this is how it is going to work, right? Because even you can see that I have sent few emails before over here. Not this one. I'll just scroll it down. Okay, this is the previous email. You can see the email was delivered successfully, right? So seems that is something which is not accepting the change. Okay, let's go ahead and I'll simply run other, right? So let's say this is another API, which is find my joint teams, right? Let's run this one. Now it says that modify permissions. Let's go ahead under the permissions tab and find permissions over here. So we need to find those permissions which are relevant to teams, right? And once we go ahead and find those one, team settings, then teams app installation, teams activity, service. Okay, I think that's going to be very longer one. Members of a team. Okay, tabs in channel. Okay, that's something a bigger list one. Okay, this needs the details. Then similarly on Teams beta, right? Messages without replies in Teams channel. So we would need a channel ID and Teams ID or group ID to get that. And basically, as I said, not all of these APIs are supported with the consumer identity, right? And that is why it may not work every time, right? And that is why we need to be careful, or we need to be very okay. So let's do one thing. What is it? Outlook calendar. Okay, so under calendar we have read permissions. So I'll just grant read permissions to this one, right? Which is only the read permission for this one, right? We wanted to make sure it has the appropriate permissions to read. And here you can see it has exported the details from that respective calendar, right? You can see there is a test meeting on this calendar on the subject with the test meeting, and you can see there's a details about that meeting, right? So similarly, the same way we would be able to export the details and see it and use it for a different testing purpose, and we would be able to access all of that. Also, we can run different APIs over here which are going to match. Let's say run this one, and it has run or executed successfully. Let's say we wanted to schedule meeting. Here's the API for that as well, right? So we can put my subject one, and then we can put start date and time. Let's say we wanted to do that for today at 10:15 or 3:19, and it should simply do that, right? So let's go ahead and run this one. Now it has given the error because it needs calendar read write permission, right? And that is why it is not going to do that. And if I have to go ahead and consent or provide the consent, I'll just need to simply click on it and provide the consent, whichever it needs, right? Only to that respective API. And once it is consented, that means we should be good here. Now let's go ahead and run it. And boom, you can see that it has scheduled a meeting for that particular date time. And you can see all the details of the same, right? And it has also sent an email to the Outlook. I'll just show you that message over here. Okay, I think meeting email is not yet sent. Okay, let's refresh this one, and we should be able to see something that is popping up. All right. Let's do one thing. Let's go to calendar first, and we should be able to see something in the calendar then. Perfect. You can see that there's one event scheduled, which is at 11:55, right? And the same event is scheduled and showing in calendar here as well. Okay, and not this one. I'll just simply click on week. Okay, so this is the event you can see, which is starting from today till 20, I believe it was for 29th, right? So it was till 29th. You can see this event is scheduled, right? And I can simply go ahead and either delete it or remove it, or if in case I wanted to edit, I can simply edit as well, right? So this is how it's going to be performed, and the same can be scheduled on behalf of other users by administrators or anyone, right? So even you can do the same using programmatical way, and this is going to be easy for administrators as well as different people, right? So we can use that as well. So yeah, that is how we can go ahead and perform and use Graph API or Graph APIs for consumer identities, and by using Graph Explorer. So that's pretty straightforward and easy to, right? And there's one more thing which is pretty straightforward, which is something, whatever the applications you would see over here in the consumer identity platform, right? So all of those applications would have a different or certain level of APIs. So we can go ahead and use all those APIs with those applications to perform and use those for different requirements, right? So basically that's how it is going to be used. And we can simply, you can see there is Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneDrive, Teams, Clipchamp, Outlook, and then other applications. So all of these are the free applications which comes with Microsoft 365 Hotmail account, right? If we have the free account, and at the same time it's going to be the outlook.com account, right? So yeah, that's how it is going to be. And it's going to allow you to use all of those applications and then APIs as well. And definitely you can go ahead and test those and use it for your different needs and requirements and test it, right? And you can bring those to your work basically. Even if you don't have work account, that does not mean you won't be able to use it, right? So yep, that's all for this video. I wanted to show you and talk about it and tell you how you can go ahead and do this and use it for your different use cases and requirements and for your work basically. So yeah, that's all for this video. Let me know if you have any questions, any doubts, anything you wanted to know and learn, and I'd be happy to answer those. And don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, people, and subscribe to the channel as well, right? So that's when you get to see every new video which is available and uploaded to the channel. So yeah, that's all for this one. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.